All right. So we're gonna make some declarations today. One of them being, I was right. You were right. But unfortunately, though, some of us were got a little bit more than our fair share of intimacy from people that we probably didn't need it from in regards to the calling out of Mortal Kombat over the last year or so. I think I've been called almost every name under the sun and accused of almost everything that you can possibly imagine just because I was right. And I was right. I didn't want to be right. I've been a fan of Mortal Kombat since the very beginning. Very first game. All the way back from the arcade. Then when I got the home versions. Never stopped. Even when Ed Boon was the sole person taking over the franchise, I still stuck with it. Because it still felt like Mortal Kombat. But isn't it funny how when I started to say negative things about what I was seeing in regards to the game, you know, talking about everything from the cameos to the combat, it seemed that certain parts of the community were not appreciative of somebody having a voice. You see, these people don't actually can take it, well, they can't take away your voice. They can't actually do anything to you. But what they do is they lie about you. And they smear you a name. And they act like, well, if you don't go to a tournament, you don't know what you're talking about. Imagine being so fucked in the head to think that somehow pressing buttons better than somebody else means that you think that you know what's best for the game. And you know what's funny? It didn't matter. Did it? None of these little therapy sessions that some of these people had, none of these hollow grifters out there, none of these people that acted like they were so above everyone else and that I was just the sexist, racist, phobe-ist, whatever you want to decide to call me. It didn't matter, did it? It didn't matter. Because for all the grifting and all the glazing and all the shillery that went on, all of them couldn't save the game, including myself. But you know what the difference is? I didn't go to those lengths that they did with me. Not even once. You see, the best position that we can all have, and I've said this many times, and I keep saying this because this is the only position that matters, is being the customer. It doesn't matter what our opinion is of the women in the game, or our opinion is of the gameplay, or our opinion of the game stages, or the animalities, or anything to do with it. The only power that we truly have, outside of all the criticism that we can levy against any product out there, is the fact that we are a customer and we vote with our wallets. Now, sure, we can share our point of view, but let's be honest, how many of us, including the big ones, are really shaping the narrative of the game or the impact of it, unless you're somebody like, say, Asmongold, who is so big that he can actually influence the impact of a game, both either positive or negative. Why? Because he's so big. The rest of us, we're all small fry. That's okay though, because we should also be allowed to have our voice and share it. And we should also do it honestly. We should also do it without standing on the backs of others and tearing others down. Instead, what I expected from the Mortal Kombat community when I started noticing these things well over, probably close to 2 years ago actually now, I started to take notice of certain individuals in the space, whether they were shills, whether they were grifters, whether they were only pros. And I did my homework. And some of these people I've spoken to. Some of them I haven't. But it's amazing how much people will do or say anything to make sure that they never lose an opportunity at all to either have a door open for them or to destroy someone to open doors for themselves. You don't get that around these parts. On this channel and my community, who is along with other people's communities, like say, for example, Total MK, we have some of the best communities out there. You want to know why? Because we don't behave in these behaviors. We are honest, even if you don't like hearing it. At least you know where you stand. You'll never see us tear others down and stand on their ashes to get somewhere, to lie and smear other people, creators, to get ahead. You see, all of this occurred that I'm talking about because I said I didn't like this. I had a voice. As a customer, I had a voice. And for all their pandering, for all their, well, we know better than you, you don't know anything. Guess what? This is the best part. You didn't do shit. For all your knowledge of the gameplay, for all your intricacies and intimacies when it came to certain aspects of the game, nothing fucking changed. The game tanked. And you'll say Fate, but they're saying now, what is it, 5 million sales? 5 million sales? That's amazing. How can it have tanked? Because what they don't tell you is the retention rates. What they don't tell you is the return rates. They tout these numbers. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even trust the numbers anyway. Because for all we know, they could be adding on DLC sales as part of sales, right? You have your initial sales of the game, then they bring out Chaos Reigns, and they treat that as a separate DLC, but they add it on to the original. So they go, oh, Chaos Reigns sold 1 million, we've got 3 million sales over here for the original game. Oh, that's 4 million right there. See, Warner Brothers is a company not to be trusted. And are we ever going to get the intricacies and the details of all the sales of all the pieces of DLC? Absolutely not. Right? It's never going to happen. So for all the bullshit, for all these people that went out of their way to try and tear me down, I watched for a long time. Especially too when I was on break. I had community members constantly updating me, of their own volition might I add, about people taking my talking points and the things that I had said 6 months, 8 months, a year ago, passing it off as their own. Because most of these grifters, they don't have a thought in their own head. They surround themselves with people that might actually know more, but they themselves are their own disgruntled, washed up individuals that are trying to control narratives that they have no power over. And the only power that these people had, the only power that I ever had, was the fact that we're customers. And when you start tearing others down because they don't know more because you didn't go to a tournament, well, you're a fucking idiot. Truly. Sincerely. You are. Because it didn't do anything, did it? It didn't save the game. At all. It's tanked. We now have, short of an announcement coming out to declare, oh, actually, by the way, we have Kombat Pack 3 coming out. We actually don't have any future content outside of a added palette swap or costume, face mask, announcer voice, some dumb shit that they can go, see, we're still supporting it. I was right. And why was I right? Because I am older than most of these people. Some of them are my age and they should be ashamed of themselves. But because I've been a fan of Mortal Kombat for so long, and some of these people haven't, or some of these play these games as if they've just walked into a McDonald's and sat there for 5 minutes with their little coloring book and the crayons, and then by the time they finish their cheeseburger, they're done. I have been a fan. I have been a restaurateur of Mortal Kombat since the very beginning. I think I just made up a new name. Bank that. So, when I started noticing patterns all the way back, when they started changing the game in the 3D era, and I started noticing patterns in the way that Ed Boon would talk about things, or his trolling behaviors on Twitter, now X, I banked these patterns. I started to really take notice of not only those behaviors and those patterns and the indications that this series was absolutely going downhill as soon as we got MK10. And for all the people that are going to sit there and go, but Fate, MK10 sold this amount, MK11 sold this amount, and even despite that, MK1's probably sold more than, say, 2D era MK games. Possibly combined, who knows? Isn't it interesting how, despite all that, despite all those sales, the games, and all the knowledge, and all the therapy sessions that these people have, the games have gotten worse. Everything has gotten worse under NRS. And everything has gotten worse because you know why? Because the glazers and the grifters, they don't actually care about the quality of the game. They care because they got lightning in a bottle one day and they found a niche that made them popular, and that led them to go down pathways that they probably shouldn't have. Defending products, attacking other creators, making sure that, well, you know, I'm the good one, they're the bad one, because I'm not saying anything bad about a product. Please open the doors for me, Warner Brothers. And these are the same people that'll tell you behind closed doors that they don't like Warner Brothers. They think they're a terrible company. But, shh, can't say that publicly because they don't want to cut off the meal ticket. And here we are. We have come to the end at last. We are at the precipice, if you will, of the final ring being tossed into Mount Doom. The Mortal Kombat 1. And it's over. We have done it. We have endured this shitfest of a game. The worst entry in MK forever. And people will go, Fate, but the gameplay's good. To you. That's subjective. And I don't care. That is your opinion. And like assholes, everyone's got one. And again, your opinion didn't do anything. And to be fair, I didn't do anything either. But I wasn't here to change the course of the game. I was here to express my opinion. I was here to express my thoughts on, with pattern recognition and interviews and behaviors and the intimate details that some would miss, seeing where the franchise would go. And now here we are with a shell of its former self. Mortal Kombat. A skin suit mod for another game underneath. It is not Mortal Kombat. And I was right. And you were right. And others were right. The difference between us and some of those others is that we were just trying to express our thoughts. And guess what? It didn't matter, did it? All that pandering, rifting, and shillery, and glazing, and tearing down at others. Guess what? Didn't stop the game from falling apart, did it? And some of these people have become quite profitable from doing this. And to that I say, God bless. Thank you, God, that I am not shallow enough, that I am not empty enough, that I am not such a piece of garbage that I would sacrifice decency to elevate myself in a digital space against others. For what? Still here. Others are still here. And despite all of their efforts, this game still failed. Right? It's just that some of us, for the whole journey, like myself, like Total MK, and many others out there, were honest. They were up front. And they said what they said, and that was the end of it. And they didn't need anyone else to burn down to get ahead. And the good thing about watching for a good couple of years and taking notice of the people in the community and seeing their behaviors and the way they treat others. And then when I started getting a lot of heat from these people, I knew exactly how to respond to them. You see, it's a lot easier to sell stupid than you realize. And I have been paying attention this whole time. And some of these people, sure, they, I think, have turned over a new leaf. Or maybe there's more to them than meets the eye. I do love the Transformers. Some of them, absolutely not. Right? And I am very happy, along with the other people that I know in the community. I am very happy to have been a part of their either acquaintance or friendship circle, to get to a point where I can say, and I can look at my content and their content and say, we did it right. And we did it not just because of that, but because we had the backing of the best communities you could ever hope for. Because I'm not here without them. That's a simple fact. I can make videos all day and nobody could watch them. You guys put me here. In fact, you guys put these other guys here as well that I absolutely admire and revere, and the quality of their content. In fact, some of them should absolutely be way bigger than some of these bigger content creators I know, because of their knowledge and their depth when it comes to knowing, for example, stuff about Mortal Kombat, of course, Total MK. But you notice how when we speak our mind, just like crazy lefties, they don't seem to like the idea that people have an opinion, or that just because we may not know as much as somebody else, well, somehow we should stay in our lane. And boy, oh boy, I've been told that a few times, that maybe I should just stick to what I know. And yet, funnily enough, when these very same people are being told by other people to do the same, they don't like it. They say, I'll do whatever I want here. Isn't that amazing? And that's a good thing. Because whether you like me or not, you'll always get the truth, you'll always get honesty, and you'll never get lies. Because that is one thing I am absolutely against, and that is lying. And I encourage anyone that has been following my content or watching it for a long time, or even if you're new here, and if you have any doubts whatsoever about my mistreatment of information, or, you know, putting forth something that is absolutely not true, then by all means bring it up. But you can't, and you won't, because it doesn't exist. And despite everyone's efforts, I'm still here. And I'm still all right. So we're going to be doing a podcast tomorrow, God willing, with Total MK, talking about this whole thing falling apart. In fact, you'll be able to see the thumbnail on the channel right now for the Fate cast. I think it's episode 3 now with Total MK. And of course, if anyone else wants to come in after that, for sure, absolutely. But one of the things about being right is about trusting your instincts. That's what it is. It's not about ego. It's not about knowing more than somebody else. It's about the things I've already mentioned with pattern recognition. But more importantly, it's about trusting your instincts, the gut feeling about certain things. And despite my lack of knowledge of the combat systems in Mortal Kombat 1, didn't matter, did it? Because my instincts were correct. You see, God gave us those things for a reason. And it has nothing to do with knowing more knowledge than somebody else. Because if the knowledge was so important and the impact of it was so justifiable and the game was so incredible with these systems, why is it not outselling its previous entries? Can somebody explain that? You know why? Because deep down, you know, whether you admit it or not, it's crap. From top to toe, apart from a couple of little nuggets of greatness, perhaps, it's crap. And I was right. My instincts were correct. And when you put yourself out there in a public space and you share your opinion, you absolutely are allowed to have people clap back and, you know, ask you questions about why you feel this way and that way. And that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly allowed to happen. But a word of advice for people out there that you find someone online and you're not 100% sure that you like their opinion, but you want to talk to them. Here's a little word of advice. Do it in a way that is non-combative. Do it in a way that allows you to have good open dialogue instead of being a prick. That's my advice. Now, to finalize this video, I actually have a new song. One of the many wonders and joys that I've been having for the last month or so is when I was on my break, on my downtime, me and the boys would actually be creating soundtracks and songs for the channel. And over the time, we now have amassed over 300 songs for Fate. I've got a brand new one tonight. It's called In Tune. So if you want to listen to it, stay till the end of the video and you'll hear it. Otherwise, trust your instincts. Always trust your instincts because they'll always be in tune.
I see the lines before they're drawn. Read the room before it yawns. I speak in rhythms nature writes. You call it luck, I call it sight. I've got a pulse on hidden cues. Truths that dance in worn out shoes. You chase the facts, I ride the signs. I see the end before the climb. I'm not guessing, I'm aligned with the echo and the rhyme. You play checkers, I play time. It ain't magic, it's design. You can argue day and night, but I'm in tune, so I'm always right. Your logic's tight, but I bend space. Catch the shifts you can't embrace. Patterns hum like sacred codes. I just know when to let go. Call it instinct, call it fate. I call it seeing through the gray. I don't win just cause I'm loud. I just feel what's not allowed. I'm not guessing, I'm aligned with the echo and the rhyme. You play checkers, I play time. It ain't magic, it's design. You can argue day and night, but I'm in tune, so I'm always right. I don't need to shout or prove. Every step I'm too ahead of you. Waves crash, but I move with the tide. While you're asking why I glide. You call it arrogance, I call it clear. I see the patterns, I steer. I'm not guessing, I'm aligned with the echo and the rhyme. You play checkers, I play time. It ain't magic, it's design. You can argue day and night, but I'm in tune, and I'm always right.